kind of rushing through it, but it's a short amount of time. What I've done is I've taken parts off of an old tower from a computer, so just a PC. And what this is it's a hard drive mount, or a CD drive mount. Just anything that you can find that looks like it'll fit within your frying pan, go for it. This fits almost perfectly. This motor right here, this is a Hymax motor. It's brushless. Here's the speed controller right here. These things, they spin awfully fast, alright? The reason I chose brushless, it's more efficient than the brush motors. You get a lot more out of them. There's better power, better torque, and less battery consumption, alright? So pretty much just go through whatever you can afford, go for it. If you want to go brushed, that's up to you. I just chose this. That's my decision. Alright, so anyway, this right here, this little post coming up, that will mount on the inside center post on the frying pan. So when you put them together, this thing will spin very quickly. Alright, so I'll get back to you after I put the servo back together and we got it all glued up and I've mounted the wheels, and I'll show it to you after that. Alright, so this is another servo right here. It's going to take a while for the glue and those others to dry, and so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do kind of time-lapse type thing. This right here is, again, an S3003 servo, and what I've done is I've taken two control horns off of, one off the servo and another from the package that you get with the servo. So what I did, I sandwiched it together using the mounting screws to hold the servo in place on the planes or cars or what have you. And that seems to work pretty well. I mean, it's not the fastest motor in the world, but as you can see, now we get full motion out of this, alright? And that's basically what we were going for. Alright, so we're going to test it. I'm going to hook it up, make sure that it works. That's the biggest thing. Make sure that your electronics work before you hack them. I pre-tested these, and it works really well. Alright, the reason I chose these, they're reliable. I have never had a problem with these servos. Only other thing you might be able to do is just convert over to metal gears. That'll prevent you from ripping the teeth right off the gears, stripping them out. Alright, so on the next step, we're going to test it. Okay, so now we're going to test these little servos. I've got two of them here. Make sure both of them work. Both the same exact setup, alright? S3003s, the wheels mounted on them, clamped together between the control horns. So what we're going to do is I've got all of my radio system connected. Some of this has already been mounted, so I left it like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug in our battery. Actually, wait, we're going to turn on the transmitter first. That's a smart thing to do because you never know when someone else might be on the same frequency as you. That beeping just means it's connecting. And so anyway, already you can see this one running away. We don't want that. Come on, get back, get back. Alright, and what we're going to do is just make sure that they both move equally. I've already done the mixing on my controller. This is a digital controller. It's a, whatever you want to call this, it's a 2.4 gigahertz DSM spread spectrum technology remote. Of course, there are newer ones, DX7, DX6i. Those are just different models of this controller. I find this one works just fine. So anyway, now that we're all bound to the radio system, we'll make sure that they work. You can see they're both moving. And then there's forward, reverse, left turn, right turn. Now all I'm doing is I've mounted everything on this one stick for the driving. Alright, so that's forward, that's reverse, that's a left turn, that's a right turn. And then over here, this side, that's going to control the weapon, which is right there, that little blue motor that you see. I'll show you what that does. I've just got it like the basic hookup right now. And so I'll just give it a little bit of gas. You see that? That really is going to tear through some stuff when we mount it to the weapon. So again, we got our little servos. They move perfectly, timed exactly. Alright, so after this we'll get back after we've mounted everything onto the robot, and we'll take it for a test drive. Okay, so here's an update on what I've done. I have taken a piece of wood right here, and what I've done is I've used that as a spacer for my servo motors, so that I keep them evenly balanced on the robot. You want to keep them as close to the center of balance as you possibly can. That way you don't have to worry about having so much weight on the front or the back that it will drag on this back bumper part. So what I've done is I've just gray taped the servos and the piece of plywood into place, and just made it so that they will stay there temporarily. I'm going to do a real quick test, make sure that my positioning is correct, make sure it will run around on its own. Now, what you're going to see is this is not the fastest robot in the world, but it is very precise when you're moving it, and it can move pretty good amounts of weight around, just not with the gray tape. Obviously, we're going to have to balance it out a little bit better and secure it. So here we go. We're going to test this out real quick. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to hook in the battery. Come on. Alright, right there. And again, turn on the transmitter first. And then there's the battery. You hear it beeping. Okay, that says we're ready to go. Now, I'm not assisting this thing in moving at all. I'm just going to move the little switch. There you go. See that? Move around on its own. Forward, backward. There you go. It's a pretty good little test. That thing, that little robot right there that you see, that it didn't take very long to build. We're still not done with it, but that first step right there that you see, took very little time. So after we're done securing down all the other parts, we'll get it ready to do a little bit better of a test with the weapon attached, and then we'll get to see what this thing can do.